Okay, so just put us here on the presentation mode. Right. Okay. So what feasibility studies is actually to determine if this product that you are going to sell or then the services, if they are going to be viable. Now, viable, we've spoken about that. That is actually to make sure that the time and the money that you've put in this selling this product or then the services that the risk that you take with that is going to then actually make enough money for you to start a little business on that. So we're going to look at a few aspects here to take into account before you actually start with or go on with this business idea. The first one is decide whether you can continue with your identified idea. So you're going to look at the product and then see if it is possible to actually make money. Then decide whether there is a market for your product or services. And then do basic cost calculations to decide if the idea is viable. Don't worry too much about that. We're going to do that in module 4. Then eliminate some alternatives and then determine the threats and opportunities. And last one, what are your strengths and weaknesses within the business? Okay, so we also need to do marketing research, and that is to determine if actually the feasibility study regarding this product or services. I've got a short little video here. Let's just see if it's going to open on this mode. No, it's not. Okay, so I'm just going to open it on my normal slides. Let's just watch this quickly. Tando, can you hear anything on the video?
Ma'am?
Okay. Yes.
There's no sound, there's no video.
Okay. All right. Can you guys see my in room 13? Can you see my slides that I share?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. I don't know. We'll check later what is wrong there. All right. No, it seems like that one is not going to work, guys. I'm not going to waste time then further on that one. Let us just go on to the next information then. Okay, so I will put this in a QR code for you on the notes, which you can then just watch on your own. This is more or less what we are saying in class. The only thing that that the videos is actually doing is just to support you guys with the just giving you the information in a different form. Okay. Sorry, let me just see. I've messed up everything here now. You go there. All right. Are we back? Should be. Okay, so later on, and maybe when you do your studies, maybe just watch this video to support you as well. Sometimes if we see a video or we see things in demonstration or something like that, it is just easier and better for us to remember that. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do here is we want to look at the types of feasibility study. The ones that we are going to look at is the marketing feasibility study, or then the marketing plan. That is the bottom page 52. Okay, so with a marketing plan, when you do marketing, you share information. So this is then a flow of information from the business to the customers to inform your customers about the products or the services that you have. Then we have the market feasibility study. Here we've got a flow of information from the customers to the business, because here we want to find out if your customers will be interested in a product that you are selling. Components of market feasibility is in the product description. Also, the identification of your market position. That would be part of your market share, and also the market information. If you have money, and also the needs can be identified if the consumers are able to then buy the products. All right. If you are interested in a Valentine's Day, maybe that is then the process that you are going to follow now, the Valentine's Day market. Okay, then our products and services description. We have on page 53, we've got a market feasibility study there where we actually identified quite a few components. The first one is a product description, and then the other one is identified in the market position. Okay, so with the product description, we have three categories here: industrial products, also consumer products, and the services. We're going to look at each one now individually. Okay, then under consumer products, we have convenience, shopping, and also specialty. Now, what I didn't tell you guys right at the beginning is if you or someone who would like to make use of sticky notes, that means whatever I said is important, you can put a sticky there, or you can make a list at the back of your textbook or your notebook where you can easily identify or then find information regarding certain aspects in your textbook. You are allowed to do that because remember, our tests are going to be closed book first, and then after that, the open book. So obviously linked to that, you don't have the whole day. You have limited time to then complete this test within. Okay, and then we look at the identification of a market position. Here we look at identifying the target market, also the market description, the market segmentation, and then the market share at the end, which is very important. Okay, then 3.3, the market information. How do we do about getting that? Collection of data, the methods of data collection, pre-sales questionnaires, and then the SWOT analysis. Okay, so let us start with products and services. The description of that. A product can be described as durable and non-durable, or then tangible. Okay, so durable, it lasts, or it doesn't if it's non-durable. Tangible, this is something that you can touch. So a chair, food, cold drink, anything like that. Then the intangible objects. Now, this is something that you can only experience. So say, for instance, you've booked a accommodation somewhere for the weekend. So you stay in the accommodation, you use all the facilities inside to maybe prepare breakfast, to sleep, to shower, all of those. But when you leave, obviously you leave the objects behind. You don't take it with you. So that is then intangible, okay? So you just experience that. And most of the times that is service-based products that will actually fall under that. So a description then of the services is what the product does. Say, for instance, food, it feeds you. Or cool drink or coffee, it actually make sure that you get your fix for the morning, or then if you're thirsty, you will drink any drink. Then kind or type of product, and here we've mentioned the industrial products, which is raw material that you can actually manufacture products. Consumer, that is anything that will be used by the consumer, and then the services. How it works, also commercial use for the customer, and then the benefits for the consumer and how it solves a problem, because that is at the end where we are heading. Right. So next up is then the nature of the product, bottom page 53 still. Here we classify the products into three different aspects that we've mentioned just now, no? The industrial, consumer, and services products. On page 53, there's a good layout for you of the different classifications of the types of products and services. Okay, so here I've mentioned the raw material just now for industrial manufacturing of products. Then the consumer, this is where you satisfy the personal needs. Can you still remember Maslow? Now, the basic needs should be most of the times something like food, shelter, water, clothing, and so on. So here, the consumer is the end user. So they buy products for the household that people need, and then at the end, they will be the user of these products. Then the convenience products, that is the first one that is important here. We will look at products that are actually bought or used every day, like bread, milk, newspapers. I don't think that much anymore. Fruit and vegetables, maybe. And then this is a short decision process. You don't go to the shops and think, okay, what bread am I going to buy today? You go to the shops, you know exactly what kind of bread you want. If that isn't there, you also have a substitute product. And you take it and you go and pay, and there you go, out of the place. Okay, so these products are also sold in many places. The little spaza shop will have that. Bread, milk, cool drink, maybe coffee, maybe sugar, soap, all those kind of things. And then they are relatively cheap. So they're not that expensive comparing to other products that we're going to mention now. Then the seller tries to get closer to the clients. This is why we have these little spaza shops inside the communities as well, which is also a great opportunity for you as an entrepreneur to start your own little business, your micro business. It is not brand particular. So as I said, if that bread that you normally buy is not there, then you just take another one. It's a no-brainer. You just go on. Okay, then shopping products. This is now where we look at objects like appliances, cars, clothes, jewelry, um, maybe motorcycles, maybe something's in that line. So here, which is what is important here, is your consumer will compare products. They will compare products regarding the quality, the price of the manufacturer, and also the retailer, and also the different brands. So say, for instance, you want a refrigerator to buy one. So you're going to look at the quality, you're going to look at the size, comparing that with the other products, also definitely the prices and the guarantee and the warranty. So it's not nowadays we have so many brands available. Depending on what you can afford and what you really want, you are going to compare. So shopping products, you always compare the different products with each other. Then this means if you compare, you're going to spend a little bit more time on the decision making. So you're not going to go to game, buy the first fridge that you see, and now you're sorted. You're definitely going to compare prices. So it's going to take a little bit longer, this decision process. Then advertising the campaign, which is more specific to convince people of their advantages. So maybe you are looking for a refrigerator and all of a sudden you found this brochure that was in a newspaper or sent to you via WhatsApp or whatever mediums you use, or you see it on Instagram or Marketplace, and now you know, okay, this is going to be the place that I will definitely go to buy my refrigerator. They are a little bit more expensive comparing it to the convenience products, the bread, the milk, the everyday products. And then do research before you buy. Okay, so you're going to, as I said, compare maybe guarantees, warranties, and then that will include a little bit more research. Then brand awareness can be created. So say, for instance, Game says, okay, this weekend, all the Bosch appliances are services less 20%. Then obviously that's going to be making people more aware about the brand. Okay. Third one under the consumer products is in specialty products. Here we look at specialty means expensive, means exclusive. No? Okay, so this is the products that are manufactured in small items, or quantity, sorry. Only a few of them are available, like in your clothing boutiques. Then the sales are limited to a specific shop. You won't find this in every community. You will have to travel to this specific place. And they are definitely more brand aware. And you don't buy these products often. Okay, so that is now like the red Ferrari in the garage, or that you are still aiming to get. Okay, now this information is definitely not in your textbooks regarding the services, but please don't stress about that. I do have that in the slides for you. Okay, so accommodation is the first one. If we look at the services, renting hotel rooms, maybe flats or houses, whatever you do when regarding the weekend that you booked to just go and relax a bit. Household, repair services for your household items like refrigerators, stoves, any IT products, maybe, or anything like that. Recreation, this is what you normally do during weekends. So you go to the cinema, you have maybe a, a sport club that you are part of that in a sports team. And then personal, all the beauticians, the hair salons, the barbers, the dry cleaners, and so on. Professional, this is now where we have people like traveling agents, maybe tour guides, any kind of consultant as well. Then the financial services, this is where we have insurance, travel insurance, the companies, commercial banks, also foreign exchange, or any kind of business that is related with financial services. Consumption and production happens here at the same time, and that is then called intangible. Remember, I said you have the experience, but you don't take the products with. Okay. All right. Let us just skip activity 3.1 for now. Then we go on to page 56. Identify the market position. Now, this is very important because you must have customers. If you don't have customers, you don't have a market. And if you don't have a market, you don't have a position in the market. So this then focuses on the needs of a specific group. So you will find out what is the needs of this target group, or this specific audience that you have identified. Okay, so what we're going to do here, page 57, we are going to identify the target market to focus on the market activities. Okay, so market research will be done, and that will then identify to you what your target market is, and also the potential clients that you will meet their needs of, or see the gap in the market. There will also be a guide of pricing, and this is what I've also mentioned regarding the Valentine's Day. Remember, now your customers will be students just like you. And then promotion strategy. Promotion strategy, we're going to look at in module 6, so don't stress too much about that now as well. Okay, so secondly, we are going to have a method to define the market segmentation. Now with this, very important information, the whole of module 3 is important. Please make sure that you do understand, listen to me, and also make notes as we go. All right, so they love to ask to actually categorize the your target market in the case study under a specific segmentation. And we will look at that now. So we've got demographic profile, which is then on page 58. We will go through that one now, where we identify the different characteristics, which is very important. Then we have the lifestyle, which we are going to do at page 59 as well, and then the decision makers in the household. Okay, so with regarding the segmentation, we have to then look at the first one, which is the demographic profile segmentation. So demographics, this is where you will look at the target market. You will look at the individual, the consumer. What is their age? What is their gender? What is their income level? Also, what occupation they have and the ethnical group, because this always going to play a role when they make a specific decision. Right. So let us look at the demographics quickly on page 58. So here, the gender, different people with different genders actually have different interests and preferences and needs. And that must be addressed in any product or services, because that is going to then help you to sell the product. Okay, then the age group. Obviously, different age groups will have different preferences regarding products as well. You guys are more focused on to styles and hair and clothing and makeup or cosmetics or anything like that. But older people might not, they might maybe be more interested in household items or anything like that, cars and so on. Okay, then the income, there are three main categories. The first one is a high income group, then middle income, then low income group. Okay, so within every case study, you will see that you will have to identify these three. Sorry. So the high income group will be will be having a different ranges of the products and strategies than the lower income. So they will also look at different products because they can afford different products. No? Then marital or relationship status. This is according to individual relationship statuses. You will also have different packages maybe for different people. Like if you are a traveling agent, you can maybe rather sell packages for couples than singles, which means that you can your price can be higher because it's for two people now. Okay, occupation. This is the different occupations that we have, and that will also have different preferences regarding products. Education is the next one, and that is the level of education. This will be linked to your income and also your occupation. So the job that you're doing. The next one is an ethical group. So there are different preferences within every ethical group regarding food, the way that you dress, your behavior, things that are more important to you or to your culture could also be included here. Okay, so then the next one that we're looking at is the family life cycle. This is also very important because this is where we are categorized in different phases of our lives. And this is important to keep this in mind when you identify a product so that you can actually understand in which phase this target group of yours is. when you want to sell a product or services there. Okay, so the first stage is then young and single. I think that is like most of you. So they wear fashionable clothing, they like entertainment, recreation is part of them, sports cars, yeah. That Ferrari that's still waiting in the garage for you, no? And then traveling and outdoor sport. Then we've got young and married with no children. Could be some of you as well. So they will be interested in buying products like your home finishes, traveling, recreation, also insurance, home appliances, and socializing. So that will be their buying habits. Then our young and married with children, maybe we have some of you here, baby equipment, baby food and clothing, good medical fund, education provision for children, and then toys for children. So that would be their focus. Then we've got middle age with children at home. So education and activities of children, higher food purchases because they eat a lot, no? And then fast food because there's no time to prepare food, fashionable and trademarked clothing, also dental and medical care. So everything that will be important for children. Then we've got the empty nest. Children have left the house. This is where they have a better financial position because they don't have that much financial force on them anymore or all the expenses. Traveling could be one of the things that they do, visiting restaurants, and then they are able to make donations. Luxury products for their own use might be important here. Then aged, that is the older people, could be single or married. And this is where home security, healthcare, catering for special needs, less money spent on food because they don't eat that much anymore. Last one, widowed or single. And this is then possibly rental house because they can't afford a house of their own. Frozen meals because they don't eat that much and that often. And then maybe money saving products. So this is just a guide for you to help you to have a look at what possibly could be the buying habits of each and every stage of the life of your customer. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to look at here regarding our demographics is in the decision making in the household. Now, as we go through this information, you might want to then have a look at where you fit in. Okay, so the different households will then have different decision making or makers regarding products or services that will be used or then bought. The first one is the initiator. Now, initiator, they will identify a need in the house. So they will see, okay, we need a new refrigerator, or people need more clothes, or new clothes, or shoes, or whatever. Then the gatekeeper, they collect the necessary information to solve the problems and also to satisfy the needs of the customers. Then influencers, you all know about the influencers. We have them all over social media as well. So they have a say in which purchase should be made. Maybe we have a few influencers in our classes as well. Okay, decider. So they decide whether the purchase will be made or not. Then the purchaser, and this is where this person will be the one that will buy the products. And then the user, I'm sure it's all of you, just consume the products. All right, also important. Then the next thing that we are looking at is the market segmentation. Now we're going to divide the market into 4 groups. We have to segment it. If we don't segment it, it means that we don't know what the market consists of. So if you segment this market, it means that you know exactly what is important to your target market and also that it is more easier to identify certain aspects. Okay, so demographics, we spoke about that one. I'm not going to go back to that. Then on page 62, we've got the psychographic. This is then where the individual's lifestyles can be identified, like your attitude, your interests, your values, and also spending patterns on products or food or whatever, social status, and also activities. There's example for you at example 3.1 that you can go through on your own. It's just a little example, yeah. Okay, so then the next one is the behavioral segment, and this is on page 62. This is where you will then look at products that you can get benefits from. You will also look at how you behave in certain decision making, also the brand loyalty that will be part of these products. Also, that the customers will respond to benefits that they want. All right. Then the next one, the geographic segmentation. This is exactly what it says, the area, the region or the country where you are. So here we look at the population density, means that how many people are actually in a certain area. Also the infrastructure, what is available? Is there running water? Is there electricity available? So obviously you will look at these when you look at our shopping products. Weather, that might also play a role in your specific product that you might have, and then the country-specific culture and other factors. So we've mentioned previously McDonald's in India can't sell beef. They had to they had to change their products to chicken products. Okay, so the market segment can be divided into homogeneous groups, and they all have the same characteristic. So the same characteristics. So for instance, if you look at, the students on our campus, you will have the same characteristic regarding studies, although it is different programs. You are all writing team ones, you're doing AMs, you are doing team twos, and you are all students with a student card and with textbooks. So that could be having the same characteristic, wanting to achieve something in life. Hopefully, your goal is to complete your N6. Okay, so I think we're going to skip 3.1 first as well. The other important stuff now. Okay, so the market share, page 64, this is very important. Okay, so because we have competitors, you will not be able to have 100% market share. If you have a new idea, which becomes an opportunity because it's viable, then you might have 100% for a few hours. But as soon as someone actually realizes that you are really going to make money from this idea, your market share will be divided. So you're going to lose the 100% market share. Okay, so the performance compared then is the basis on the segment of the market that can be controlled. And this is then called your market share. Okay, so for instance, you want to sell hamburgers at college, but there are other brands already in the market, like KFC. We've got Lion King just here close by, and so on. There's actually quite a few burger places around us. Then a potential market share. This is calculated by taking into account the surrounding competitors. And here it's important to look at the indicating opportunities. So here, first thing we're going to look at calculating of the market share. This is example 3.3 on page 65. Now, this is very important information. They love to ask this during the TM1. If not this one, then you will get it in TM2 or the cash flow statement. But we will talk about cash flow statement when we do that. Okay, so we're on page 65. So if you're putting stickies, this might be one of the places as well that you will put a sticky note. Okay, so they will always give you a case study, and then according to that, you are going to work out the market share. Okay, so the steps will be given, but you must just be able to do the calculations, okay? Okay, so let us go through this case study quickly so that you can understand. Maybe highlight whatever, underline. I don't know what you want to do, whatever is going to make sense to you. Okay, so assure that there are 600 customers in. Assume that there are 600 customers in your target market. That is now your target area. That is your target market. Okay, so how many? 600. Highlight that one. The average income per annum, that is per year, per customer amounts to 10,500. So highlight average income per annum and 10,500. If you do it this way, remember now when you write a test or in the exams, you are a little bit more stressed. Am I right? Okay, so if you highlight this information, your eyes can just quickly scan through this, and then you can then just get this information. Okay, so you estimate that each customer spends 1.5% of their yearly income on your product or services. So highlight 1.5% on your product if you want to. You believe that you will enjoy a market share of 30% of the total market. So highlight market share of 30% total market. So now show all the calculations, don't just write answers, the potential market share of the business. Okay, so what we're going to do here is step 1. This is what they will give you. You don't have to write that. You just have to do the calculations. So please, guys, get a calculator as well. Borrow one for the semester if you don't have one, or maybe just use your NSFAS as soon as you receive that. Okay, so determine the average income per customer. What is the average income per customer? We've highlighted that. That is 10,500. Then determine the total number of potential customers. We said in the beginning we have 600 customers. Okay, then calculate the total income of all the potential customers. So the formula will be average income times the total number of potential customers. So show all the calculations. 10,500 times 600, that's going to give you 1 mark, equals then 6,300,000. That's going to be another mark. Then the next step, determine the percentage of this total income that you will spend on the relevant product or service. So this is then the 1.5% that we've said. Multiply this percentage by the total income to determine the total amount spent on the relevant product. So the 1.5% times the 6,300,000 will then give you 94,500. Okay, so that's also 2 marks. Determine the percentage that they spend on your product. This information they gave us as well. We said we want 30% market share. Last step here, multiply this percentage by the total amount spent on the relevant product. This is then your market share. Okay, so we said we want 30% market share. Sorry, times the 94%, 94,500, which we've worked out just before, 2 steps before this one. And that will then give you 28,350. All good on this one? Finance, are you still good there? All right. Okay, so what I want us to do is activity 3.5 and 3.6 now in class, please, so that I can see if you understood me. So you're going to use that framework or that frame of the example and then do your calculations according to that, please. I'm going to give you, what, 10 minutes? I think that would be enough.